They say choose your business partners more carefully than you choose your spouse, because a bad marriage affects your heart, but a bad business partnership can destroy your entire life. But what happens when the person you trust with your company, your finances, and your future decides that everything you've built together should belong to them alone? My name is Marcus Thompson. I'm 34 years old, and until 6 months ago, I was the co-founder and CEO of TechFlow Solutions, a software development company in Austin, Texas that I built from nothing into a $3.2 million annual revenue business. I thought I was living the American dream: successful company, beautiful office in downtown Austin, team of talented developers, and a business partner I trusted like a brother. But this isn't a story about the American dream. This is about the day I discovered that my business partner had been systematically stealing my company, my clients, my employees, and my life's work while shaking my hand and calling me his best friend. If this story resonates with you, please hit that like button and tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Entrepreneurs especially need to hear this story. Your support means everything to me. I met Kevin Williams in 2019 at a tech meetup in downtown Austin. I was a freelance software developer working out of my apartment in South Austin, building websites and mobile apps for small businesses. Kevin was a sales and marketing guy who just left his corporate job at Dell, looking to get into the startup world. You know what your problem is? Kevin said after hearing me complain about struggling to find clients. You're brilliant at building software, but you hate selling it. I love selling, but I need something worth selling. The partnership seemed obvious. I would handle all the technical development, product creation, and team management. Kevin would handle sales, marketing, client relationships, and business development. We'd split everything 50-50, ownership, profits, decision-making, everything. We incorporated TechFlow Solutions in January 2020, right before the pandemic hit. While other businesses were struggling, we thrived. Companies needed digital solutions more than ever, and Kevin was incredible at finding them. Marcus builds solutions that actually work, Kevin would tell potential clients. We're not just another tech company promising the moon. We deliver results that transform your business. He was a natural salesman, charismatic, confident, able to explain complex technical concepts in language that non-technical clients could understand. Within 6 months, we had 12 clients and $400,000 in annual recurring revenue. I focused on what I loved: writing code, managing our growing team of developers, ensuring our products were reliable and innovative. Kevin handled everything else: contracts, client meetings, financial planning, business strategy. You're the genius behind the curtain, Kevin would joke. I'm just the guy who gets people excited about what you create. By 2022, we had 22 employees, offices in a converted warehouse in East Austin, and $1.8 million in annual revenue. By 2023, we'd grown to 35 employees and $3.2 million in revenue. TechFlow was featured in Austin Business Journal as one of the fastest-growing tech companies in Texas. I thought we were building something incredible together. I thought Kevin was as invested in our success as I was. I thought our friendship was as solid as our business partnership. I was wrong about everything. The problems started small, the way they always do. Little inconsistencies that I noticed but dismissed, minor frustrations that I attributed to the stress of rapid growth. In early 2023, I started noticing that Kevin was having more meetings without me. Client development stuff, he'd explain. Really boring sales pipeline discussions. No need for you to waste time on that. I was happy to avoid sales meetings, so I didn't push. But occasionally I'd overhear phone conversations that didn't sound like typical client development. No, Marcus doesn't need to be involved in this discussion, I heard him say during one call. This is purely a business development conversation. When I asked about it later, Kevin was dismissive. Just exploring some partnership opportunities. Nothing concrete yet. I'll loop you in when there's something worth discussing. Then I started noticing changes in our financial reports. We were making more money than ever, but somehow our profit margins were shrinking. When I asked Kevin about it, he had explanations for everything. "We're investing heavily in growth," he'd say. "Marketing expenses, new business development, expanding our sales capacity. Short-term costs for long-term gains." As the technical founder, I trusted Kevin to handle the financial details. That was our agreement. He managed the business side, I managed the technical side. But the numbers didn't make sense to me. We were billing more hours than ever, our rates had increased, our client retention was at 95%, but somehow we were both taking home less money than we had the previous year. "Growing pains," Kevin assured me. "Every successful company goes through this phase. We're building something bigger than just immediate profits." I wanted to believe him. Kevin had proven himself as a business developer over 4 years. Our company's growth was evidence of his success. If he said we needed to invest in future growth, I trusted his judgment. But late at night, working alone in the office, I sometimes felt like something was wrong. Not anything I could identify specifically, just a nagging sense that important things were happening without my knowledge. In March 2024, Kevin started talking about strategic partnerships and enterprise-level opportunities that would take TechFlow to the next level. "I'm working on some big deals," he'd tell me with excitement. "Contracts that could double our revenue in the next year. But they require some complex structuring, so I'm working with our corporate lawyer to make sure everything's set up correctly." These mysterious big deals required a lot of Kevin's attention. He was out of the office more often, taking meetings that I wasn't invited to, working on contracts that he said were too preliminary to discuss in detail. "I don't want to get your hopes up until everything's finalized," he'd explain. "But Marcus, this could be the breakthrough we've been working toward." Meanwhile, I noticed that some of our long-term clients were asking strange questions during our regular technical check-ins. "So how much longer will you personally be handling our account?" asked Sarah Chen, the CTO of one of our biggest clients. "What do you mean?" "I'll be handling it as long as you're our client." "Oh," I thought, never mind. Kevin mentioned something about transitions, but maybe I misunderstood. Similar conversations happened with 3 other major clients over the course of 2 weeks. They all seemed to think that my role with their accounts was temporary, that some kind of transition was being planned. When I asked Kevin about it, he seemed genuinely confused. "I have no idea what they're talking about." Maybe they misunderstood something I said about expanding our account management team. You know how clients sometimes misinterpret business development conversations. I let it go, but the pattern was troubling. Why would multiple clients independently get the impression that I was leaving their accounts? As the technical co-founder, I had administrative access to all of our company systems, servers, databases, file storage, everything. It was necessary for me to maintain and secure our technical infrastructure. In April, I was doing routine system maintenance when I discovered something strange. There were file folders on our company server that I couldn't access. Folders that required passwords I didn't have, created with administrative privileges that bypassed my access. The folder names were cryptic: KW_strategic, new_entity_docs, transition_planning, client_migration. I asked Kevin about the locked folders during our weekly partner meeting. "Oh, those are just some business development files I'm keeping secure," he said casually. "Client confidentiality stuff, you know how it is. Some of these enterprise deals require extra security protocols. But I'm co-owner of the company. Why wouldn't I have access to our own business development files?" "It's not about trust, Marcus. It's about legal liability. Our corporate lawyer recommended keeping certain strategic documents siloed until deals are finalized. It protects both of us if negotiations fall through." The explanation sounded reasonable, but it bothered me. In 4 years of partnership, we'd never had company files that one of us couldn't access. Why start now? That night, I used my technical skills to investigate our server logs. What I found made my blood run cold. Kevin had been accessing those locked folders almost daily, sometimes for hours at a time. But more troubling, he'd been uploading and downloading large files, the kind of files that would contain client lists, financial records, proprietary code, and business processes. Why would Kevin need to download our company's proprietary information if he was just working on business development? Something was seriously wrong, and I needed to understand what. As a software developer, I knew how to investigate digital activities. But this was my business partner and supposed best friend. I needed to be careful and methodical. I started by analyzing our company's financial records more carefully. Kevin handled all client invoicing and payment processing, but I had access to our business bank accounts and accounting software. What I discovered was shocking. For the past 8 months, Kevin had been creating invoices for services that I had no record of providing. Consulting fees, strategic planning services, business development retainers, all billed to our existing clients, all processed through our company accounts. But here's what made it worse: these mystery invoices were being paid into a separate business account that I'd never seen before. An account with Kevin's name and signature authority, but not mine. Kevin was essentially running a parallel business using our client relationships and company infrastructure, keeping all the profits for himself. But that was just the beginning. Digging deeper into our client communications, I found email threads between Kevin and our major clients discussing transition services, new corporate structures, and ongoing partnerships under revised terms. Kevin was negotiating to take our clients with him to a new company, a company I knew nothing about. Using public business registration databases, I discovered that Kevin had incorporated a new company 3 months earlier, Williams Strategic Solutions LLC. The business registration listed Kevin as the sole owner and CEO. But the company description was identical to TechFlow's services, custom software development, digital transformation consulting, and technical project management. Kevin wasn't just planning to leave our partnership. He was planning to steal our entire business model, our client relationships, and our revenue streams. The locked files on our server suddenly made sense. Kevin had been preparing to launch a competing company using everything we built together: our client lists, our proprietary software, our business processes, even our employee contacts. I hired a private investigator to dig deeper into Kevin's activities. What she found was devastating. Kevin had been meeting with our major clients for months, telling them that TechFlow was restructuring, and that he would be their primary contact going forward through his new company. He'd been positioning my departure as voluntary, suggesting that I wanted to focus on pure technical development, while he handled the strategic business relationships. He'd also been recruiting our employees. The PI found evidence of coffee meetings, LinkedIn conversations, and salary negotiations between Kevin and 6 of our senior developers. Kevin wasn't just stealing our business, he was stealing our entire team. The evidence I needed came from an unexpected source: Kevin's own carelessness. During a routine server backup, I discovered that Kevin had been using our company email system to communicate about his new business. Apparently, he'd forgotten that as the technical administrator, I had access to all company email archives. The email trail revealed the full scope of Kevin's betrayal. Email to Williams Strategic Solutions lawyer: the transition timeline needs to be accelerated. Marcus is starting to ask questions about the locked files. I need all client contracts transferred to the new entity before he discovers what we're planning. Email to our biggest client: don't worry about Marcus. He'll be focusing on back-end development while I handle all strategic relationships going forward. The technical quality will remain the same, but you'll have much more responsive business leadership. Email to our senior developer: I can offer you a 30% salary increase at Williams Strategic Solutions, plus equity participation. We'll be handling all the same clients with much better growth potential. Marcus won't be involved in the new structure. Email to his accountant: I need the financial projections updated to reflect full client migration by August. If we can capture 80% of TechFlow's revenue stream, Williams Strategic Solutions should be cash flow positive from day one. Kevin had been planning to destroy our company and steal everything we built, all while maintaining our friendship and business partnership as a cover for his preparation. The most insulting email was one to his business mentor. Marcus is brilliant technically, but he's naive about business. He trusts me completely, which makes this transition much easier to manage. By the time he realizes what's happening, all the clients and key employees will be locked into new contracts. Armed with irrefutable evidence of Kevin's betrayal, I scheduled a meeting for the following Monday morning. But I didn't just plan to confront him, I planned to protect myself and what remained of our business. Over the weekend, I worked around the clock to secure our company's intellectual property. I changed all administrative passwords, backed up our proprietary code to secure servers that only I controlled, and documented every piece of software and business process we developed. I also consulted with a corporate attorney who specialized in partnership disputes and intellectual property theft. This is one of the most comprehensive cases of business partner fraud I've seen, she told me after reviewing the evidence. Kevin has clearly violated his fiduciary duty, misappropriated company assets, and engaged in systematic theft of business opportunities. Monday morning, I arrived at the office early and waited for Kevin in our conference room. When he walked in with his usual friendly greeting, I was ready. "Kevin, we need to discuss William's strategic solutions and your plans to steal our company." The change in his expression was immediate and dramatic. The friendly mask dropped, replaced by something calculating and cold. "I don't know what you're talking about." I slid printed copies of his emails across the table. "These are communications from your Williams Strategic Solutions email account, discussing client transitions, employee recruitment, and revenue projections based on stealing our business." Kevin's face went pale as he recognized his own words. "Marcus, I can explain." "Can you explain why you've been billing clients for services through a separate company? Can you explain why you've been telling our clients that I'm leaving voluntarily? Can you explain why you've been recruiting our employees for your competing business?" The conversation that followed was unlike anything I'd experienced. Kevin didn't deny the evidence, he couldn't. Instead, he tried to justify it. "You're a great developer, Marcus, but you don't understand business strategy. TechFlow has hit its growth ceiling with our current structure. The clients want more sophisticated business leadership. So you decided to steal the company instead of discussing restructuring with your partner?" "I didn't steal anything. I've been developing new business opportunities that will benefit everyone. By creating a competing company and secretly recruiting our employees." Kevin's justifications grew more desperate and insulting as the conversation continued. According to him, I was holding back the company's growth, the clients preferred working with him, and the employees wanted more dynamic leadership. "The truth is, Marcus, I've been carrying this partnership for 2 years. You do good technical work, but I've been building all the real business value. It makes sense for me to lead the strategic evolution. With stolen client lists and proprietary software. Nothing was stolen. I developed those client relationships myself. Using company resources, company infrastructure, and company time. While lying to your partner about what you were doing." The meeting ended with Kevin walking out, saying he needed time to consider options for moving forward constructively. I knew exactly what his options were, because I'd read his emails. He was planning to accelerate his timeline and take as much as possible before I could stop him. What followed was 3 months of intense legal and business warfare. Kevin had been planning his theft for nearly a year, but I had evidence, technical control of our systems, and legal right on my side. Kevin's first move was to contact our major clients directly, claiming that TechFlow was dissolving and that Williams Strategic Solutions would be providing continuity of service. He presented this as a smooth transition that would benefit everyone. But I was ready. I contacted every client with evidence of Kevin's deception, showing them that this wasn't a planned business evolution but systematic theft of our partnership. "Kevin has been lying to both of us," I told our biggest client. "He's been planning to steal our business while maintaining our partnership as a cover. The transition he's describing is actually corporate theft." Most clients were shocked and angry when they learned the truth. They'd trusted Kevin because they trusted TechFlow, but they felt manipulated when they understood his real agenda. Kevin's second move was to quit TechFlow officially and take 6 employees with him to Williams Strategic Solutions. But I was ready for that too. I'd revised our employee contracts to include stronger non-compete clauses and intellectual property protections. When Kevin tried to recruit our developers, I was able to show them evidence of his systematic deception and offer them better terms to stay. In the end, only 2 employees left with Kevin, both junior developers who weren't essential to our operations. Kevin's final move was to launch Williams Strategic Solutions publicly, advertising identical services to TechFlow and claiming to offer enterprise-level leadership that his previous partnership had lacked. But without our client base, our proprietary software, or our senior development team, Williams Strategic Solutions was just Kevin with a fancy name and no real business foundation. The lawsuit I filed against Kevin for partnership fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, and theft of trade secrets took 8 months to resolve. But the evidence was overwhelming. Kevin's own emails proved that he'd been systematically stealing business opportunities, misappropriating company resources, and planning to destroy our partnership while pretending to be my trusted friend and business partner. The court ordered Kevin to repay all money he'd diverted to Williams Strategic Solutions, $340,000. Transfer ownership of any intellectual property developed using TechFlow resources. Cease all business activities that competed with TechFlow for 2 years. Pay damages for the business disruption he'd caused, $150,000. Cover all legal fees, $75,000. More importantly, the court invalidated all client contracts that Kevin had negotiated on behalf of Williams Strategic Solutions, ruling that he'd obtained them through fraudulent misrepresentation. Kevin was forced to shut down Williams Strategic Solutions and return to corporate employment. His reputation in Austin's tech community was destroyed. Word spreads quickly in our industry about people who can't be trusted. After Kevin's departure, I restructured TechFlow as a sole proprietorship and focused on rebuilding trust with our clients and team. The experience had been traumatic, but it also clarified what I wanted our company to be. Without Kevin's aggressive sales tactics and questionable business development strategies, TechFlow became more focused on technical excellence and genuine client relationships. We grew more slowly but more sustainably. I hired Sarah Martinez as our business development manager, someone with corporate experience but no interest in ownership or control games. I also implemented stronger financial controls and transparency measures to prevent future embezzlement. I want everyone to understand exactly how this business operates, I told our team. No secret files, no mysterious projects, no hidden agendas. We succeed together or we don't succeed at all. 6 months after Kevin's departure, TechFlow was generating more revenue than we'd ever achieved with him. Our profit margins were higher because we weren't funding a parallel business operation. Client satisfaction was higher because they weren't being manipulated or misled. Most importantly, I enjoyed running the company again. Without the constant stress of Kevin's deceptions and power plays, I could focus on what I loved, building great software and leading a team of talented developers. Kevin's betrayal taught me crucial lessons about business partnerships, trust, and protecting what you build. First, partnership agreements need specific protections against exactly what Kevin did. Non-compete clauses, intellectual property protections, and restrictions on parallel business development. Most partnership disputes happen because the agreements were too vague about these scenarios. Second, financial transparency isn't optional in partnerships. Kevin was able to steal from our company because I'd given him too much control over financial operations without maintaining oversight. Trust should be verified, not blind. Third, the warning signs were there months before I discovered the full scope of Kevin's betrayal. The locked files, the mysterious meetings, the client questions about transitions, I should have investigated immediately instead of accepting his explanations. But the most important lesson was about the difference between business partnership and friendship. I'd trusted Kevin as a friend, which made me vulnerable to his betrayal as a business partner. Personal trust and professional verification are different things, and successful partnerships require both. Kevin had been a good friend and a capable business developer. But when he decided that our success should belong to him alone, he became something else entirely, a sophisticated thief who used our friendship as cover for systematic corporate theft. My name is Marcus Thompson, and this is the story of how I discovered that the business partner I trusted like a brother had been planning to steal my life's work while shaking my hand and calling me his best friend. Today, TechFlow Solutions is more successful than it ever was during my partnership with Kevin. We have 42 employees, $4.1 million in annual revenue, and the kind of company culture that I'd always wanted to build. More importantly, I've learned to build business relationships on verified trust rather than assumed loyalty. I have partners now, vendors, consultants, key employees, but those relationships are based on transparent agreements and mutual accountability. Kevin taught me that the most dangerous people are often those who seem most trustworthy, who have access to everything you value, who smile while they plan your destruction. He also taught me that betrayal can be survived, that good businesses can recover from bad partnerships, and that sometimes losing a partner is the best thing that can happen to your company. Williams Strategic Solutions lasted 7 months before Kevin was forced to shut it down and return to corporate employment. According to mutual contacts in Austin's tech community, he's working as a sales manager for a large software company, no longer trusted with partnership opportunities or equity participation. I don't take satisfaction in his professional difficulties, but I also don't feel sorry for him. Kevin made choices that destroyed our friendship, violated our partnership, and damaged his own reputation. Those were his decisions, and he's living with the consequences. As for me, I'm building the company I always wanted, one based on technical excellence, genuine client relationships, and the kind of workplace culture where betrayal isn't possible because everything is transparent. The most valuable thing Kevin stole from me wasn't money or clients or intellectual property. It was my naive trust in business partnerships. But losing that naivety made me a better entrepreneur, a more careful leader, and ultimately more successful than I'd ever been when I trusted blindly. Thank you for listening to this story about business partnership, betrayal, and the importance of protecting what you build. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Entrepreneurs especially need to hear these cautionary tales. Have you ever been betrayed by a business partner? How did you protect yourself and rebuild? I read every comment and appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, remember, trust in business must be verified, not assumed. Your success is worth protecting from people who smile while they plan to steal it. And sometimes, the best partnership is the one you walk away from before it destroys everything you've built.